there was an idea to bring together a podcast to see if certain movies had a lasting impact on cinema history, to see if they were keystones or copycats. This season on Keystone Copycats, Marvel Madness. Hello and welcome to Keystone Copycats with Chris and Zach. I, of course, am your host, Zach, and he, of course, is your other host.
Dylan, you son of a bitch. You remember that?
No.
You remember that from Predator? Dylan, you son of a bitch.
I haven't seen Predator in so long.
It's so fucking good.
Huh.
I've got that Matt Dillon saying stuck in. It's not even his saying. I don't know why I said saying. You know in Wild Things when they're about to have
when you see Kevin Bacon's hog.
They're about no, that's great. I have a discussion about that too.
Is that his real hog or is it fake?
I realized that twice this week I've talked about Wild Things. I don't know if
surprised it's so low.
So Matt Dillon, when they're about to have the threesome, he just goes, "Oh yeah," like with the champagne on his chest.
Yeah.
And I realized some people get songs stuck in their head. I've had that in my head. Oh yeah, like when he's like, "No, kiss her."
Oh
it's
yeah.
so bothersome.
I'm Matt Dillon.
It's when they're dumping champagne all over each other. If you were about to have a threesome, would you be like, "All right, let's get real sticky first. That way we can't get away."
I mean, fuck it. You're getting sticky anyway. Like
you're shrugging. Like
you're in the moment. I don't know. I don't want champagne on me. Like in general.
What's what I'm saying?
It's not. But also, it's not like he's saying like, yeah, pour this glass full of jam on her. Like that's not. It's not sticky like that. It's not like maple syrup.
Okay, so you don't drink. But if someone was like, "Ooh, let's do this," and they dump,
I'm gonna pour sparkling grape juice on you.
That's what I'm saying. They dump soda, soda water. You'd be like, "Stop!" Like you wouldn't like even if it was room temperature.
I mean, soda water is not gonna be sticky. There's no sugar in it.
No, I put sugar. I put a cube of sugar in it because I'm fancy.
Yeah, because you were feeding it to your horse as a treat.
And then he coughed it up.
You licked it out of your hand.
He coughed it up into my drink, and I went, ugh, and then threw it on your threesome.
No, you were feeding him. You were giving him his treat sparkling water.
Oh, well.
Gross.
Well, the reason I forgot about the other one. The reason I was talking about Wild Things earlier this week is because I was on the phone with my fiance, and she was going on about whatever she talks about. And I came back in because I wasn't listening clearly. And, there was a street that said bacon. It was something like bacon dog, but it spelled like Kevin Bacon. And I was like,
how else would it be spelled?
So I just interrupted her and said, "Hey, how much do you think he got for showing his dick?" And she goes, "Who?" I said, "Kevin Bacon, like showing his, what'd you call it, a hog?"
Yeah, it's hog.
Showing his dong. Like, how much do you think you get? Like, if you're getting paid X amount of dollars, let's just say you're getting $100,000 for a role.
Okay. I'll take it.
Are they like, all right, we're going to give you an extra $10K to show your dick? Do you think it's that much? Because she wouldn't answer me. Like,
I think it's more than that. No, I think it's
me.
more than that. I think it's more than that for sure. I think you get a lot for nudity, especially if you're a big name like Kevin Bacon. Like, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because it was only
he's not starting out.
For a second, and like it was pretty quick. But like, how much do you think you would show your dick for?
Well, like in Swordfish, like Halle Berry got a fuck ton of money. To be topless in that non-sexual scene. Like that was like she got so much money for that.
And and we all wanted to see both.
Well, yeah. And we wanted to see Jack Human's hog, but he didn't let that little towel fall off ever.
Who's Jack Human?
You know.
Jack. Oh yeah. Man, that was tied pretty tight. Forgot about that.
It's like buttoned.
I don't know. What if they were like? What if you were just insulting? They're like, all right, we're gonna give you like $100,000 for this role, and we'll give you like $50 to show your dick. Like, wouldn't you feel way more insulted? Like, you'd feel pretty whorish at that
Yeah,
point.
no, I'd be like,
got
no,
50
you can't see my dick for $50.
Really?
Yes, of course not. I'm not showing my dick for $50, especially not in a movie.
How much would you pay
To see Kevin Bacon's
to
dick?
see-
Nothing. I saw
How
it.
much would you pay? How much would
I've
you
seen wild
pay
things.
a stranger, like, you know what's weird?
You?
You know what's
Your obsession
strange?
with Kevin Bacon's dick?
Is that this is pretty much anyone, right? If you're like saw a stranger and you're like, look at that guy, and I'm like, I don't like him, like a guy at McDonald's, but you're like,
Yeah.
hey, would you want to see that guy naked? You'd be like, well, yeah, let's see. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who it is. If this is the whole sex video thing, if it's anyone
Yeah.
stranger, you're like, would you want to see him naked? Though you'd be like, oh yeah, let me see him naked. Like, I don't know why.
Well, no, that's the
why
thing.
Is
Like,
that?
that's why people pay good money to get like leaked celebrity
Yeah.
nudes. You know, it's because
'Cause it's
everyone is like,
taboo.
I want to see that person naked, regardless of if they want me to or not. You know, which is like
We're all
awful. but
we're all
like,
voyeurs. Like, that's all of us. Like, I would
men
see,
at least.
and I would see anyone naked. I'd be like, let me see him naked.
Okay, okay.
Across the board, I want to see him naked.
Let me ask you this. Okay, you're given a wheel.
I got one.
Like you spin the wheel. It's got
that
celebrities
kind of
on
wheel.
it.
I thought it was like I had this stick and I was running and I was
No,
happy.
it's not a hoop.
Oh,
No, it's a wheel of celebrities, and you spin it, and whoever it lands on, you see naked. Who's the one person? Who's the
Gwyneth
dud?
Paltrow.
No, who's the dud that you put on there that's like you really don't want to see naked, and it's like it makes it more exciting to spin the wheel.
what was the about Schmidt? Who did we see naked that we didn't?
Kathy
want to see?
Bates.
Kathy Bates.
We already saw her.
We already saw her naked. So the person I don't want to see naked.
Hmm.
Gosh, can we come back?
I thought it would be
I
like
don't think I'm ready.
I thought it would be like John Cena.
Oh my god! Are you fucking with me? I literally thought John Cena was the first person. How did you guess that?
I don't know.
Oh my god!
But if you
Are
watch,
we really a Tyler Durden thing?
yes.
The last episode? I swear to God, I thought John Cena.
Welcome
but
back,
why?
sir.
Why? Why did you guess that? Why
because
did I think
I don't
that?
want to see John Cena nude, but I've seen him so close to nude in the Suicide Squad and also in the first episode of Peacemaker. He is like in tighty whities, and it is.
I do
Weird.
not know. I'm not fucking with you guys. I thought John Cena, and I don't know why, and I don't know how you knew I thought that, because I've never once, have we ever talked about like, oh man, I don't want to see John Cena naked? I've never said that. I really talk about that, man.
No, we talk a lot about celebrities we don't want to see naked, and John Cena never comes up.
That's fucked up. I am feeling weird now.
Okay, if you had to see one of the male Avengers naked, who do you pick?
One of the male Hulk. You got to see it. You want to know how big it is.
No, but it can't be Hulk. It's
Why?
human form. It would have to be Bruce Banner.
Which one?
I
I don't want to see Edward Norton
Eric
naked.
Bana.
You know what? I don't want to see Edward Norton
Flew
naked.
Ferrigno.
You know what's funny is like, you think American History X and you're like, okay, he seems like a guy. Just looking at Edward Norton, you're like, ooh, I don't want to see him naked. I don't know.
No,
what
it seems
is about him.
intimidating. Like he's coming for you.
Like he.
I mean, am I wrong?
Like you would look at him and be like, that's not attractive, but he would lecture you about how you need to get in shape.
So
one
we
of
will.
those.
So we are going to be watching. We are going to be watching the Edward Norton Hulk.
It's weird that I don't like none of the Avengers I would want to see naked and all of them are jealous reasons. Every single one of them is like, I think they would look better than me naked, so I don't want to see them naked. Every single one.
Sure.
Except Edward Norton,
Sure.
who I'm scared of. That's it. What about you?
Male Avenger.
Yeah.
Trying to think who's in the Avengers anymore.
No, just do let's do the
I
beginning.
go Renner. I go Hawkeye.
You want to do Hawkeye?
He's just a regular guy.
You would
You know.
you would do Hawkeye
Yeah, I'd go Hawkeye.
because like when you see him, you're gonna blow him.
No, I'd see him and I'd be like, "That's the guy that,
Okay,
that
how about
landed Linda
Okay.
Cardellini."
Let's ask this. You pick them, but if they get hard, you have to blow them too. So who do you pick?
I pick Vision.
He's not.
He's not getting hard.
I'm saying, would you just suck the bulge?
No, he's not getting hard.
You don't
He's
know.
Not.
His body is.
He controls it completely.
No, it's made of the titanium stuff.
Vibranium.
The vibranium. Good luck.
Vibrator. Neum.
Stop it. All right.
That was too sweaty.
All right. Nope, none of them.
Steve Rogers?
I want to see.
You don't go Cap?
They all be great. They'd all be great naked.
You don't go Bucky?
If I can't pick Hulk,
I mean, you can, but it's Bruce Banner.
I'm doing Edward Norton. I'm doing Edward Norton still, because he's the only one
in Fight Club
that I would just get lectured, but I wouldn't have to blow him. Probably.
No, you're gonna.
What are we doing this week?
We're talking about Iron Man.
Oh. I didn't even think about Robert Downey Jr. Can I just say that in Robert Downey Jr.'s comeback, which is this movie, right?
Yeah.
This is the popular one.
I
think his best role in coming back, as much as I love him as Tony Stark, I gotta give it to I'm fucking blanking.
Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, thank you. I gotta give Sherlock. That's my favorite of the two. I still go. I like him playing Sherlock. I think he does a better job.
I think there's,
and he's a genius in both, but I like this one.
Well, and I think there's a definite.
He's so confident as Tony Stark, and he really is that role. But something about Sherlock, I just like it more. It's a little more playful.
It's fun, yeah, and that's the Guy Ritchie of it.
Yeah.
It's less cocky. It's more confident, less cocky.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it's interesting that two different Avengers played Sherlock Holmes.
Yep.
Did you ever watch Sherlock?
No.
It's good. It's pretty good. And the seasons are like 3 episodes that are 90 minutes each. Like, it's weird. British TV is weird. But as far as Robert Downey Jr. comeback goes, I know like Zodiac is one of the first like movies he did coming back, that smaller role. It's 2005, and I think that's what gets him this movie. He did that. He did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is a Shane Black movie, which I love.
I didn't see Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Oh, you really should. It's like a noir.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, that's a very good movie.
Kiss, Zach Bang. And that'll be you and Renner later.
Yeah, that's right.
Kiss.
That's right. You just
Bang.
drew a spider.
Okay, I drew a dick and a bow and arrow.
What Avengers weapon is scarier if it's replaced with a penis?
Hulk smash.
So his hands are penises?
Yeah, there's dicks.
Huh.
He's coming at you.
They could like Mjolnir as a dick. It's like wild.
The more excited he gets, the bigger the striking unit.
This is a really like
childish,
horny episode in a gross way.
Most of the seasons start with the arousal. That's how we get them. Like we get them real swollen up.
You're saying we get horny for the episode?
Yeah, I don't know
that's
if
how
you
it
remember
happens.
the Freaky Friday, but you were all over that child. Like could not break you apart.
I don't remember.
And then you were
that
all
way.
About Bill Murray.
I gotta tell you,
we already know you're about Bill Murray. And then Keanu. That was me. That was my fault. That was my fault that season. Got a little rowdy. Did talk about being young, dumb, and full of.
Give me 2.
Do you want to introduce it?
We're talking Iron Man from 2008, directed by Jon Favreau.
And we're only doing originals, only
starring
solos.
Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, Terrence Howard, and Jeff Bridges.
Yep.
Do you like Jeff Bridges as a villain?
We can get into that.
Tony.
What? That ending. That fucking no. Hang on.
We'll get there.
That fucking voice at the end. You're like, how much of this did he just? Because obviously they put together that murder bot real fast at the end for Jeff Bridges, very very fast, like too much. But the voice was like,
did they put in a microphone in there for him? Like
100% loaded. Is that was that supposed to be for an intimidation? Because like, Toad, you're right.
I don't know, man.
You've improved your armor. I've made some upgrades of my own. Like, no, you didn't. Like, first off, you did not.
Impressive. You're like, oh,
and it's
Jesus.
the slowest rocket ever. Like, there's so much flame coming from his super boot because his feet weren't big enough.
No.
So they expand to basically that RoboCop killer size. And then it slowly takes off. And I think even Iron Man's like, I gotta get out of here, more fucking booster. And you're like, why? You actually see the wide shot of him take off supersonic, and he's just still, Jeff Bridges' suit is still just slowly climbing, like seeing if it's actually gonna take off.
It's like a slow helicopter. You're like, well.
But yeah, everything was just fucking exposition. Like, you've taken out my tracker. What's it? You've ruined my tracking.
Yeah.
Every time something happened.
Took out my guidance system. You're like, okay.
Shut up. We could have figured it out. Stop saying it.
All right.
I love the suit. Like, it's so weird because I haven't seen this movie in years.
Yeah.
And like my son and I just watched fucking Civil War on. Like, and these
those are good.
huge fucking battles. So you go back to this and you're like, wow, is that it? It's
pretty small scale. Yeah.
Like, he hits him with a motorcycle, which was good.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then Tony gets run over, and we're supposed to believe that a car might take out Tony, and you're like, oh, I forgot
Mark
what
3. The armor's,
was it 3 or 2? I think it's
3.
2.
It's
Oh,
3.
okay. Like you kind of forget, like, oh, this gets way more bonkers. Like,
yeah,
you go back and watch this, and you're like, how is he even a villain? Like, it's that slow armor.
He's just like shitty Elon Musk.
You know what takes out Tony in this one? A battery. His battery runs out, and he's like, shit. He's like, we have an issue charging.
Okay,
right
but
now.
what's funny is the 3 Iron Man movies. They're all
based on batteries.
Well, that's the big problem in all of them is he's like, I got to figure something else out with this chest piece. And you're like, yeah, okay. All right.
Charger station.
His biggest enemy in all of them is electricity.
Yeah. That's why they brought out whips in the second one. Because they're like, his biggest enemy is electricity. What if a man?
What if he was?
whips?
What if he also had a dominatrix coming for him? Like, oh wait, no, but he's Russian and has a bird. Wait, hang on.
First off, I did not hate the second movie like
bad.
everybody else did.
It's a
I think
bad
it's great.
movie.
I think the opening with Mickey Rourke, Mickey Rourke crying through his gritted teeth is amazing. Spitting vodka.
Now, is it?
It's fucking wonderful.
And I guess this is something that we'll get into next week. But is it better? Is Iron Man 2 better or worse than Incredible Hulk?
We'll get into that
because there are moments. I think
we can't do it yet.
I think worse. I think it's the worst Marvel movie. Iron Man 2 is the worst for me.
Oh no. I got to watch Dark World again because I've only seen it once.
Dark World is boring, but it's better. It's better than it's
I don't know, man.
It's a more competently constructed film. But Thor is such like a killjoy in those first 2 movies. Like he's just so self-serious.
But in Thor, does he ever say, I want my bud?
It also doesn't have Sam Rockwell.
A lot. Yeah, Sam Rockwell does pretty well.
Great, man.
What's Hammer? What's his name?
Yeah,
Hammer?
Justin Hammer.
Yeah, like him being the sleazy competitor, the number 2.
He's very good at that. But that's what's funny though is that like it's also like the first 2 Iron Man movies, his big enemy is a business competitor, which is so silly.
Tells the tale.
And like the third one is like it's not a business competitor, but it's a guy who he like shut down earlier in his career and made him feel like a fool or something. Like it's all business related.
I don't like the third one.
Oh, I think it's great. I think that's one of the best Marvel movies.
Well, it's okay to be wrong, and you are. So,
yeah.
Want me to do a synopsis?
Yeah, I'd love one.
Jet-setting industrialist Tony Stark vows to protect the world
with nothing more than a skateboard.
Tony Hawk. I didn't even say it right. I saw vow and got excited and went Tony Stark. His name's Tony Stark. This just in. Tony Stark is in Iron Man.
Like physically inside Iron Man.
I got it. I got it. Here's a question. Why the fuck did Howard Stark think that Obadiah or whatever his name is, Jeff Bridges, was going to be a good partner? Why in the fuck? If he brought nothing to the table but maybe money, why?
So I think
why did they partner up?
I think that he was like the business guy, and Stark, and we see him in later Marvel movies. Stark he's a business guy, but he's like a tech guy. He's like focused on that type of stuff a little more. But I think I think Stain, which is like...
Do you think Obi-Doba was...
I think Obi-Wan Kenobi Stain was... I think he was more the business guy. And I think Stark just like partnered with him, and he was...
But do you think he was jealous of Howard too? Because
Yeah, of
clearly
course.
he's jealous of Tony.
Well, he's jealous of Tony because he thought he was going to take over the company, you know? And then the
not have
son
to deal
comes
with him.
in, you know. Yeah, I get it. You know, I'd kill him too.
Okay.
Look, when I take over your
plan.
business,
Like
when you die...
It was like 35 years in the making.
Yeah, so when I take over your business, when you die, and then have to hand it over to your son eventually, I'm definitely going to have him killed. I will be the toilet king!
Andy, you've improved your armor.
Andy, you've improved your toilet fixing skills.
Oh. I was going to say plunger, but that made more sense.
You've improved your plunger.
I've made some improvements
on my
too.
hands.
It's reaching there. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to be able to stop saying that. You've improved your armor.
Andy unclogged this toilet in a cave.
That's not all I do. I need to let you know that.
That's all you do.
You know that I don't just unclog toilets every day, always. I do other stuff.
I don't think so. Like when you're off work?
Anyway. It's so weird to go back and watch, like, you know, Captain America First Avenger, and then you see Howard and you're like, okay, that's a pretty big jump from what we see in later years. So you're like, okay, he transitioned and whatever happened.
Yeah.
But then I think the Obadupa character, Jeff Bridges, really just throws a wrench. You're like, okay, you guys clearly this was the first movie. You hadn't thought out how.
Yeah, no, they hadn't planned it all out.
They just needed a villain.
Well, so at that point, it wasn't even like its own studio. Or actually, Iron Man was the first movie from Marvel Studios. So before that, they had licensed out like their characters to other studios that would make stuff, you know.
And they were thrilling them. They were licensed to thrill.
Yeah.
Is that you want to end the episode?
Let me ask you something. What is your, and I wanted to get into this a little bit, seeing as how this is our first episode talking about Marvel movies. What's your
username on Netflix so I can log in?
I don't know. I created it
I meant to ask
over
you,
a decade
what is
ago.
your password for Netflix?
So
the bill just went up. I didn't need to
did.
share, so.
It did. It's bullshit. So what? Fuck you. So what was your experience with the like superhero movies prior to the Marvel Cinematic Universe kicking off?
God, what were they? X-Men? Or
There was
just
X-Men.
Batman? Just Batman.
There was Batman. There was Superman. There was Spider-Man. There was a couple bad Fantastic Fours.
I did not watch the Spider-Mans. I don't think I've seen
really?
the first one. The Tobey Maguire ones. Don't watch them all the way through. I did watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I liked the first one.
The second one was bad.
Going back and watching him now, I'm like, yep, I probably shouldn't have liked this. I think Andrew Garfield tried.
I think he's good.
I think he did a good attempt, but that's just not Peter Parker, so I'm fine with that.
I thought he was better than Tobey Maguire. I think each Spider-Man has gotten better.
Yeah. And then obviously Batman, you know the history with that. You know that we're in love with him.
Of course. We love Batman.
But beyond that, I mean, if you want to call X-Men, I mean, they're mutants, but you can do that as superhero.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it's Marvel Comics, you know.
But once again, I like the newer ones versus the original 3.
I thought the first 2 in that series were really good, and the third one was a joke. And then
Fantastic Four, no for me. I didn't
they
watch
were
it.
bad.
Superman, no for me. Didn't really watch them.
See, I watched Superman a lot when I was a kid.
I know, like we've talked about this a lot, but I only like Batman.
Yeah, I was a big comic guy when I was a kid.
I'm not big on superheroes in general. I like Watchmen. I like Batman.
Watchmen's great. I was never a big Marvel guy. Like as far as comics go,
this has changed me.
I like the stories. I think they're
not
interesting.
necessarily that I'm going to read the comics, but these movies are fantastic.
Well, so when I got back into comics as an adult, I took on more of an attitude of like following writers I like rather than like characters as much.
Yeah.
So like Jeff Loeb is fantastic. Like I read his stuff like Long Halloween and Hush. So I got into him through Batman, but he also did He did a great Spider-Man book. He did a great Daredevil. He did a really, really interesting Hulk, which I never thought I would want to read a Hulk book, but it was awesome. So, like, I don't know. I took that on a little more of, like, follow a writer that you like more than the characters anymore. But when I was a kid, I read Spider-Man. I read Fantastic Four. That was the only Marvel stuff I ever read. But I'm still disappointed that we haven't gotten a good Fantastic Four movie.
Well,
yeah.
License to Thrill, breeds results.
I think you're going to make an album called License to Thrill.
It's just AC/DC cover songs.
Yeah.
It's just Shoot to Kill, but I forget the lyrics.
Is that a AC/DC song? I don't know it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's in Iron Man.
Oh, okay.
But no, I take it back. I think it's in Avengers.
Pretty sure that's Back in Black.
No, that too. There's a lot of AC/DC.
A lot of, rock music that I don't like.
So, Catching of the Eye is Happy, and I forget the actor that plays his name.
Jon Favreau, the director.
Very fucking slim, and you forget that he used to be insanely skinny.
Oh, yeah.
Like when he was in...
Swingers?
Swingers, thank you.
Yeah.
This is a very skinny fella.
Yeah. Him and Vince Vaughn started out together.
But if you listen later on, when they're driving away, Tony calls him Hogan.
Yeah.
Is his name Happy Hogan?
Yeah, that's his name.
It really is.
Yeah, Happy Hogan.
Oh, I wrote it down as a joke.
No, that's his name.
Happy Hogan, Double H.
Yep.
You kind of took the wind out of my sails.
Just like the partner, the law partner in Daredevil is named Foggy Nelson. It's weird.
Pepper Potts.
Pepper Potts. Yeah, some dumb names.
Tony Stark.
Tony Hawk.
Tony.
I think it's really cool when he builds his mechanical skateboard to get out of that cave. His robot skateboard.
We can do this, You keep poking fun, but we can make this happen.
All right.
It'd be fucking badass watching him skate out of the fucking 10 rings or whatever it's called.
The fake 10 rings.
Yeah.
As we learned just last year.
That's stupid. Like, I know they're the fake ones, but let's pretend they're the real ones. Do you think that the actual leaders have the power rings? Do you think maybe the power rings don't do anything, but they still call them the power rings? Like, they got to wear them.
No, they don't have them.
How the fuck are you going to be the 10 rings and you guys don't wear rings?
Because they're fake. It's bullshit.
Oh, but the real ones do?
Yeah. Well, they're not rings like on your fingers.
No.
They're like bracelets. Did you see Shang-Chi?
I mean, not lately. Was he here?
No, I hate you. The movie, Shang-Chi. It came out last year.
This is Shang-Chi.
No, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Sean just left. Did you see Shang-Chi?
So the whole thing is like the 10 rings is like, it's these like bracelets that give you these powers, and whoever wields them for, centuries controlled this gang.
So I guessed right. They are rings.
They are. I mean, they're like bracelets, but like they had this gang that controlled like the underworld of the world, basically. And basically,
were they scared to introduce them in this movie because they'd be too powerful and they would defeat Jeff Bridges in a heartbeat?
No, they were setting them up. They were setting them up as like kind of a wink and a nod to like, comic fans, and weren't necessarily going to do it. But then in Iron Man 3, they set it up as like the Mandarin.
Yeah.
And he's not actually the Mandarin; he's fake, and that's a spoiler for that movie. But that's another nod at the 10 Rings. So like, there's 2 fake versions of the 10 Rings before we get the real one in Shang-Chi last year, which was actually a pretty good movie. I liked it.
Well,
of the 3 that came out last year, that one I thought was really good.
Good to know, and I hope he got home okay.
Yeah,
Sean.
Yes.
If you had to pick. I mean, obviously it's the same intelligence, but
Batman. Don't ask me this.
The voice in your head. You do Jarvis or do you do Friday? Which one do you want?
Interesting.
Like Jarvis is very comforting, but he's almost a little passive aggressive. Where I think Friday is there down to help.
I'd probably switch it up every now and then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You get sick of it and then go to the other one for a while.
I'm going Friday. He sounds more like a buddy.
All right.
Jarvis seems like you'd just be like, hey, are you having a bad day? Like, you just kind of look into him like, is this a thing?
I'd just ask him about the movie Wimbledon.
That was a good movie.
I know. That's him.
Well, I know.
It's Jarvis.
Do you want to watch it?
Yes. That was a great movie. I loved it.
Oh,
so before Dark Knight came out, there was rumors that he was he was in talks to be Joker, which I think he would have been a really great version of Joker. But not like the way that Heath Ledger did it was like a completely new take that I thought was amazing, obviously. But like, I think I'm blanking on that guy's
Jarvis.
name. I'm blanking on his name.
Just say Jarvis.
But I think he could have been that like, really thin, tall, like
Lanky.
Yeah, the lanky, like underworld kind of Joker. The less like psychotic, chaos-driven Joker and the more crime boss Joker. I think he would have been really good at that.
It would have been powerful, and he could have teamed up with your boy Sean Ring.
And he could have used a tennis racket.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
He could fight Tony Hawk.
Ooh, extreme sports. Yeah.
Fit them together.
Yeah.
And instead of having the mesh on the tennis racket, it's just steel.
Ooh. It's like a big ping pong paddle. It's too heavy.
Only he can lift it if he's
We've
worthy.
gone down a stupid road. Paul Bettany is his name. That's driving me nuts.
Who?
Jarvis. It's Paul Bettany. Wimbledon.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to think of a good name for a tennis wielding maniac, and
Casey Jones.
Casey.
It's a throwback. We're on him again.
Let's move past it. I don't have any good jokes for that. Let's move past it.
Well, and I win this round.
Here's the thing: if this is the first like superhero, like obviously they kind of refer to like, oh, they know superheroes exist, but if this is all Marvel and it's starting here, who the fuck are our superheroes? Like, what are they? Are they characters? Like, in the fake existence of superheroes, they know what superheroes are.
In the world.
What are the comics in their world?
Exactly.
And what do they do?
They're DC. They're all DC comics. That's the weird thing, is in DC, only Marvel comics exist.
So when Hawkeye comes out, are they like, oh, you Green Arrow looking mother?
Yeah.
Do they reference him? Or
yeah, of course.
He's
like, I don't look like Robin Hood. And they're like, all right, calm down.
Man, that's... I just never thought about that until I was watching this. I'm like, well, what do they... Like, who are their superheroes?
Right.
Because I was going to say, like, oh, maybe it's X-Men, but I'm like, no, there's 2 X-Men that come later on.
Well, but that's like, you're watching Star Wars and you're like, do they have TV?
Why don't
They're technologically advanced. Like, I've never seen a TV.
Not on Tatooine.
No, I've never seen any form of entertainment. I've never seen a fucking book.
No, they have that
Like,
chess,
I've never seen shit.
They have that chess game in the...
that
the
monster
Falcon.
chess.
That is weird. Like, why do they not have... And, like, they have to go to the super room to talk to the Emperor? Like, you don't have fucking phone?
They do.
Yeah, that's right. They do have, like,
hologram phones. They don't have TV.
So
I don't know.
tedious.
It's weird.
George Lucas should have got his shit together and known about the future.
He's like,
what an idiot.
He's like, well, the Galactic Senate has banned television.
Oh, stupid.
Yeah.
Give me a note.
I don't have any.
I realized that my other page where I was supposed to take notes, I just drew a star.
Sick.
Like, kind of reminded myself, like, hey, you
Sick.
should write more. And I'm like, oh, didn't.
So what was your experience with Iron Man like as a kid? Because I knew Iron Man.
Didn't care about him.
I knew Iron Man as like a second tier character. There was a cartoon. There was like a cartoon show, Iron Man, that I had watched somewhat, but it was overshadowed by Spider-Man, obviously, and then even like the X-Men cartoon,
Yeah, I remember being a child and thinking that Iron Man didn't make any sense. Like, he'd be too heavy. So I'm like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it was. That's all I ever saw. Like, when I saw the Iron Man, I'm like, that's illogical.
Yeah.
And also, how could he move? Like, if he's covered in steel, he's just stuck.
No, you're thinking of Steel, played by Shaq.
I think that's like my claustrophobia. I think that's how it started. It was looking at Iron Man going, like.
Yeah, but you watch fucking
what if you were
knights in armor.
Tomb? No, I didn't.
It's the same thing
I
all
did.
the time.
I didn't. The closest thing I had to Knights in Armor was Ninja Turtles 3.
Oh, what a
They're
bad
wearing that
movie.
samurai gear.
That's a bad one.
And they're stuck in shells.
Although samurai gear is cool.
No, it's not.
You're wrong.
That
It is.
Big
It's
old
just cool.
hat. Just
It's
slows you down.
It's just cool. You're wrong.
I guess it keeps the rain off the back of your head.
Oh, right.
It's like a hardened mullet.
So you admit that it's cool.
Why did they make them look like hardened mullets?
Because mullets were cool in the 90s.
No, they weren't.
They were so cool. Look at Jerry Seinfeld.
So fucking curly.
It's weird.
God damn it.
There's that episode of Seinfeld where he gets the supposedly bad haircut, and I'm like, they got rid of your mullet. Looks cleaner.
So back to the fake 10 rings. There's no way that they didn't know he was building a suit. Like, it was very much, that dude's building a suit in there. So when
it doesn't look like a rocket. You're like, well, come on.
They were spinning it upside, like, no, that's the tail. He's literally taking his leg and has a brace around it and flexing it back and forth. And they're like, huh. And then they brought in
this looks different than the Jericho.
They brought in the super boss, and he's like, I know what's going on here. Then he goes in, and he's like, we have 1 day to complete that rocket. And you're like, it's not a rocket. You went in, you know. He
clearly hasn't started the rocket.
He fucking busts out the mask. It's a mask. It's nothing but a mask. And he's like, 1 day to get the Jericho assembled with the face on the end.
The missile better have a spooky face. I'll put this hot coal in his mouth.
Why?
All right.
Why did it have a mouth? Why did the original Mark I, why did it have a mouth? Why?
So he could breathe.
No, his eye holes were huge. It was like
so
a
he
ghost.
could eye breathe.
It was like a ghost.
It's like you've never worn a mask before.
But like, there's no way that thing's sealed. So because even when he was talking,
it's made out of seals.
It was like he was talking through a mask that didn't have any mouth holes. Like, why? And then there was the 3. It was a spooky Halloween costume. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it.
I don't understand.
I've got nothing to add to that. It's just true. That's all.
Like, there's like, when he fucking blasts off, he goes so high, and you're like, well, he's dead. Like, watching this again, you're like, okay, so this thing did start off like, oh, these guys are immortal. There's no way they can actually die. Because he shoots up, and then they're like, oh, we crash into the sand. He goes straight up, and then straight back down. And they show him hit at an angle, and you're like, but no.
You know what's cool is he does a 900 when he's in the air. Sick.
Do you think his metal skateboard has a fucking face?
Hell yeah.
So he can talk through it?
Yeah, so you can breathe.
I want to see that movie, or at least that escape scene. So
he's
bad.
like,
and then he gets out.
He's like, this doesn't look like rollerblades.
And then he gets out with his life, and everyone's like, oh, Tony Hawk's back. And then he makes the Mark III skateboard, and it's just a hoverboard from Back to the Future.
Yeah. Yeah. I found out we're using my skateboards for evil. We're no longer making evil weapon skateboards. From now on, we make peace skateboards.
What is that? Like a dome? Like the spaceship in Endgame or the Infinity War? They just fly around. They just sit inside of it, and that's the new skateboard.
No. It's just a regular skateboard. The ones that they were making before,
but it's got incense and a hippie sign.
No, the ones they were making before had guns on them. Yep. You'd shoot with your foot.
This one has jacks for wholesome playing.
Yeah,
but until you fall on it.
Yeah, and they've got fleshlights built into them. Because they're about making love. So you can fuck your skateboard.
First off,
huh?
Fucking a flashlight is not making love.
You don't know.
I do know. There's nothing loving.
You've never done
that.
either.
It's very lonesome. It's isolated.
Not when you're with your skateboard.
It's like making love on the moon. No life forms around.
What are you fucking... Jesus.
What are you gonna get at? Say it. You got nothing.
Too late.
You got nothing in my moon fleshlight comment.
What are you, Dr. Manhattan?
Hang on, how deep are those craters on the moon? Like, do you think Dr. Manhattan hid shit in there, like his fleshlights?
No, I don't. I think when he made that glass moon palace. He just made like a glass moon woman to fuck.
What was that about? Can we stop for a second and talk about his fucking space moon palace? What he's like, I'm sick of people. I'm sick of their lies, being caught up in a web of their lies. And then makes the moon palace.
He's like, I'll live in my glass moon palace.
I think I'll go make life.
He's like in the future, a queen will make one of these out of ice.
He's just floating around on that big clock on the moon. Like, what a drama queen. All naked and buff on the moon. And
he's like, I just walk around with my dick out. All right.
That guy sucks, man. For having all the powers of everyone together, you're like, man, that's boring.
Yeah, he's a dick.
He's got one, a big blue one.
Yeah.
It hangs center. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
That's the most
straight down.
There's some part is his limp dick hangs exactly in the middle.
Well,
it's
here's
not
the thing.
Right.
Here's the thing.
Get it?
He is in complete control over his physical form. He doesn't have to have a dick.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't have to have a dick. Like, period. He doesn't.
He wants you to know that.
That's aggressive. He's walking around with a dick that he created for you to be intimidated by.
I love that. I know. When he's on TV, they make him put on that diaper thong because they're like, it's going to be too much.
Well, originally,
to know that you have a penis.
Originally, they want him to wear this suit, and eventually he's just like, nah, I'm just going to go out in this fucking Speedo.
He's a god.
Yeah.
He's a god among men. We're literally like, it's mind-boggling. Countries like bow down to him, and they're like, but seriously, hide that dick.
He's an unfathomable weapon, yet he still needs to like walk around and show people his blue, super straight dick.
That's what I'm saying. I love that all of that.
He's like, I've grown wearisome of the world. Look at my dick.
We still could not permit the dick. That's what I'm saying. Is all of this, and we're like, but hide that dick.
Because we know it's unnecessary. We're like, you don't need to have that. That doesn't have to be here.
That's all we asked. Just hide the dick. You can blow people up. They can stick to the ceiling. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Hide that penis. Why is it in the middle?
Where else would you like it to be, human?
What's in those moon holes that he's got up there? What's he hiding? What isn't he telling us?
Glass clock castles.
God damn it.
You know already.
Well,
a squid up there or something.
This has been Manhattan Talk. With Dr. Manhattan.
I like that
Bros. Movie. I don't even know how to get back to what we were talking about.
Let's talk about tropes.
Oh, hang on. I'm back.
Is this your new thing where you cough and then come back?
Oh no, this time
it was real?
This time we didn't leave. This time we didn't break
this
for
time
5 days.
You're not at your house now?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we just transport me back. You want to talk tropes?
Let's get into tropes. Let's figure out what these tropes should be.
Okay.
So,
you got a good one? I think we already talked about one of mine. You want me to pitch it?
Sure.
Enemy is fueled by envy.
Ooh, I like that.
There's another one like it later. So just if you want to hear the other one is oh, villain. Obviously, villain is evil version of the hero, like Bizarro.
That's the one. I have that one. Well, I have that one.
I knew we were going to do that, but also I'm thinking in addition, we could have the enemy is ultimately fueled by the envy. Because once again, you got to give it a motivator.
So I had one misdirection of the main villain. So they try to set up a fake lead for the main villain.
See, I just want to touch on this. Like Dr. Manhattan did us
with his
penis.
Straight dick.
I forget what I was going to get at now because I wanted to make that stupid ass joke. It's hard to go into this knowing all of the Marvel movies because you don't know what you're doing to complement the rest of the movies.
Yeah, I think part of it is...
Because some of it's like, oh, this super. It's just vague ones like, oh, he's rich and a genius, but all the other ones aren't going to touch that.
Yeah.
So
this
is cheating a little bit.
I think we do have to be a little more
aware
broad.
of the universe.
Yeah, a little more broad with it, just because the idea is we're saying, like, what are the Marvel tropes that they do in all these movies? Not like, what does Iron Man do that they all do?
I think this will be the most loose season so far as the tropes.
Yeah, it kind of has to be, just by the sheer nature of it being
Zach,
like,
variance. That's the skateboarding
like Loki?
trick Tony Hawk taught me. The variance.
Oh.
You get 800 points.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Loki.
Yeah.
The TV show that you didn't watch.
The Loke Dog.
Which I think you should, because it's very good.
Don't tell me what to do.
I didn't.
Okay.
Well,
causes his own demise.
The hero or the villain?
Hero.
He doesn't have a demise.
Well,
he's alive.
It's not the end. It's not at the end, but like what I'm trying to get at is like the weaponry thing. Like he's his own hurdle, something like that. Something like that.
I think let me throw one out that I think is a home run.
Like when he gets captured, I'm trying to do something like that.
Charismatic hero.
Well, yeah, that's gonna be every single one.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, if you want to put it, that's a cheater.
Well, how?
Because we already know it's every single one.
Well, we don't already know.
I know.
I mean, is Thor charismatic in Thor?
Oh,
I don't think so.
Oh,
he's stiff.
With his old English.
Yeah. With his Shakespeare talk. Directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Went to school with him.
No, you did not.
Oh, well.
No, you did not.
I went to school with my mom's cousin.
Okay. Okay.
These are all facts.
Okay, what do you... So I've got two that I think...
I got one.
Okay.
Were you working towards
something?
What
the fuck is wrong with you?
Were you working towards something?
I'm in the middle of a sentence, you jackass.
I was excited. I saw you talking, and I thought, man, I could talk.
Ooh, what if I talked, though? So I've got two that I think kind of go together, and I think we can kind of make one trope out of it. So initially, I wrote down traumatic experience, and then I put impactful death. And I think those kind of go together. So, like Jensen dies in the cave, and I think that's...
I have improves himself due to a death. I'm going to merge them all.
Well, I think that kind of verges on another one that I had that I think should be a separate thing.
This would be a giant trope.
We might have like 12 tropes here.
Ugh, I don't want
maybe
to.
15. 30 tropes minimum.
We
might have 100 of these.
Max we're doing is 50.
We might have 100.
All right, go on. Stick with the original.
Okay, so traumatic experience, impactful death. So I think
that's fun.
I think that's important. I think impactful death is the way to,
sticking with death. Dead parents, no family. I wrote dead parents, and I just think no family is better. And because it's gonna hit like a handful, but not all of them.
It's a lot, though. I think you're right.
Well, that's
dead
why
parents,
I don't know if I should do dead parents or no family.
Dead parents is good.
Dead parent.
I think we call
no
it
family because later when he and Jensen are playing a game or whatever the hell they're doing in the cave,
cranking off.
He mentions he goes, wow, a man with everything and yet nothing, because he says I don't have a family.
Yeah.
So that's when we think of that. So dead parents is fun though.
I think. Looking at it this way, and like we said, we're taking a kind of broader approach to it. I think if you say dead parents, that's a yes to Spider-Man. If you say no family,
Spider-Man?
It's a no for Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
Right. But
but
I think
I'm not trying to catch them all.
No. But what I'm saying
Pokemon.
though is I think the idea of it is dead parents. I think that is important to be like, orphaned or have a dead parent. That type of thing. And I think you're right that some of those are just it's not going to factor in at all.
I got a will they, won't they? Love interest.
Will they, won't they?
That one. This one is a definite will they, won't they?
Yeah, that's a good setup with Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I like it.
I don't like just love interest. I like.
Yeah, will they, won't they? Yeah.
It doesn't exactly land. On Pep. The Pepster. Old
All right.
Pepanopolis. You want to keep going, or?
Okay, so I've got one that kind of is the one that like touched on the thing that you talked about earlier. I think a journey of self-discovery. So I think, Tony has this realization about what his company does, becomes a better person. I think that's part of the hero's journey in general, but I think self-discovery is at the heart of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool with that. I got one, and I don't care if it matches any of the other ones. Reveals identity. Because that was the improv line at the end. It was a big thing.
That was big for this movie for sure, and I think that's very important to
Robert Downey
this
Jr.
movie.
Jumped to.
I think
because it goes against the other superhero ideals is to hide your identity.
So I think if we were treating this like a normal Keystone movie, I think that is very important to this movie, Iron Man. I think it really is, because it changes the trajectory of a lot of things, and it's very like impactful that like that character, Tony Stark would come out and say like, no, I'm going to be bold. I'm just going to say this is it, basically throwing out what the character had done in comics and all other media for the duration of its existence, because he makes a joke about even like, oh, my bodyguard, I don't know. And that is like, that's the line, from comics is like Iron Man is Tony Stark's bodyguard, which is silly, obviously, but like, if you're going to play the comic book game, you kind of have to do some of that shit. But I think if we're doing the broader sense, I don't know if it works. What do you think? What's your argument for it?
I want to keep it. I don't care if anyone else does it. I want to see if we can catch one.
Yeah.
I can think of one. I don't want to name them off right now, but I can think of one that I think it's going to hit.
Okay. Reveals identity.
Yeah. Do you want to say to public? Because obviously they reveal their identities to other people. Publicly? Or do you just want to leave it at reveals?
We'll leave it open. We'll leave it open to interpretation and kind of see.
Now, I have one that we kind of already talked about, and that's near-death experience. Does that fit in to what we've already discussed?
Sort of. I think that kind of goes with like the traumatic, like, I don't know. So you said no to charismatic hero, right?
I wouldn't say no. That's just a kind of a given. For all of them.
Well, my thought is like, Doctor Strange isn't charismatic. He's kind of an asshole. There's some that I think of definitely.
I'll allow it. Yeah, that's fine. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Do we put rich?
No.
Rich.
So I think there's one to me that
I was thinking. Go ahead.
There's one to me that I think is indicative of Marvel as a whole, which is kind of science gone wrong or technology gone wrong. The whole idea of he builds this technology for one purpose and it gets misused for another. But there's so much of Marvel lore that's like mad scientist, or he got turned into like cosmic rays, or Bruce Banner with the gamma radiation and that kind of stuff. So I feel like part of like the heart of Marvel stories with the superheroes, or what do they call them, metahumans, or is that a DC thing? That's a DC thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I just made up right now? We could do introduction to new superhero. Like you introduce them. I'm thinking because at the end the Easter egg, Nick Fury.
Well, yeah. Oh, so I definitely had.
Yeah, I had obviously Shield.
I had post-credit sequence.
Yeah,
one.
They're all gonna have.
They all have it, so it's kind of a no-brainer.
That's what I'm saying, like introduce new character, new leading character. I don't know.
Introduce a new character for another movie, maybe? Is that that's the idea of it?
Yeah, that's the idea, yes.
So, like, in this one, we get everybody, obviously. So we get, like, the Iron Man crew, but then we get Coulson. Mm-hmm. We get S.H.I.E.L.D. He talks about S.H.I.E.L.D. We get Fury in the post-credit.
We get Terrence Howard, but
Yeah, Rhodey.
yeah.
That's an interesting one. Setting up for another movie.
Well, I don't know about another movie.
I kind of feel like it's like laying pipe. You know, like setting up for another.
Nice, like on the moon.
Yeah, exactly. I like it.
All right, you want to put that on and then tally them up and see what we got? I know you like to end on a even number.
Not necessarily. I just want to make sure that we get everything in here that we need.
We got like 8.
So where did we land on Science Gone Wrong? Is that a yes or no? Because I think that's
gonna be like every one.
Not necessarily. You know.
I just don't see why it's not gone right.
Well, because when I think about it, because a lot of it is like an accident caused, whatever, you know.
But this one doesn't have an accident caused.
I mean, he was in an accident and had to then use the technology and science to,
I think,
save his own life.
Do heart car battery and see how many of those. Let's see how many of those catch.
0.
Oh, one right now. Heart car battery.
I don't know if I'd give it to this one. Professional skateboarder.
That's
How's that one?
Yeah, how about robotic lair? We'll see how many of those come up. Oh wait, hang on.
Too many.
Hang on.
Answer.
Actually, there actually is another.
Well, when I think about it, like there's definitely a few that have nothing to do with science. You know.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I think it is important to Marvel. Like it is a thing that they do. The biggest thing that we already like.
What about tech over superhero? Tech over magic or something.
I don't know how that works because it's definitely not in this. There's no magic in this, you know.
Well,
and there's not even an implication of it yet.
Stick to what you had and put on there robot car battery.
Okay, so we've got impactful death, charismatic hero, science gone wrong, journey of self-discovery. Villain is an evil version of the hero, which I love. That's one that I had that I thought like immediately that's the one. Yeah. And that's the problem with a lot of these movies is they're all like fighting themselves at the end. Dead parents, will they, won't they? Reveals identity, introduced a new character. So that's 9.
I don't know. I still like enemy fueled by jealousy or envy.
So you want to have 10? Is what you're saying?
No.
Okay, then.
I'll do 9.
Yeah, that's 9. I think that's a good.
The math will be easier on the 10, but whatever.
Yeah, you don't do it anyway.
I do. I tally them all up.
You've never tallied anything in your life.
I get like 6 out of 9.
You're like Dr. Manhattan.
I get like 8 out of 9. Shit. I'd even get a 2 out of 9 if I had to.
2 out of 9.
This movie surprisingly was a 9 out of 9.
This one got 9.
Fucked up.
I gave it 9. Wow, 100%. Wild.
What 9 can't be 100%.
Out of 9? It's 100%. 100 out of 9%.
I am excited about this season because we get to do all fucking fun movies.
I think it's going to be fun.
I don't got to think. Oh, it's going to be great. I get like 10 weeks of not thinking.
You might have to think a little bit.
I probably won't, though.
Might have to think how to diagnose that stopped up toilet.
I already know what to do.
The Toilet King.
You handle it like you would a lady. Just grab it and shake it. I see you've made some upgrades. You've upgraded your armor. I've made some upgrades of my own. Like you didn't. You didn't, Obi-Wan.
So one thing I do want to talk about is how great the Marvel casting is. I think it would be hard to outdo what they did.
Jeff Bridges, it's so crazy to look at. Obviously, we see him as the dude.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how well he portrays Obadabwa. It just looks like the character. You know he's gonna reveal himself as a slime ball.
Yeah.
He just has that character down. His whole mannerism, like how he pauses and dwells on things. He
seems underhanded, and there's like, I think the first time you see the movie, you don't necessarily, you think he's like kind of shitty and like trying to take over from Tony, but you don't necessarily think that he set up the hit, you know?
Yeah. One thing that I don't know how they would have achieved this or how they would have wrote the ending. I kind of don't want him in the suit. I think he's better as paying someone to do it. Like, that's the kind of guy he seems like he is. He doesn't seem like the guy that's in the tracksuit sneaking around and then getting it. Like, it doesn't see, that's not him.
But I think that's
where it got a little silly.
I think that is a lot of the problem with Marvel movies is in the third act. They're just like, well, fuck, I guess the bad guy then, he also becomes Iron Man. And you're like, no, that didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
And even like looking at Iron Man 2, which is a movie we're not going to do, so I feel like perfectly fine like discussing it here. Like,
it's the bigger stupid suit.
Well, it's another thing where it's like, Howard Stark worked on it with this guy's dad, and now he's another version, the Russian version, who's a criminal of Iron Man. It's the same thing.
Well, it's just like, what if his suit was even bigger?
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I guess. But like that is one of the biggest problems with a lot of the Marvel movies. And what's interesting is you don't see it in the movies that we're not talking about, the group stuff. You don't see it in Guardians of the Galaxy. You don't see it in the Avengers, you know? Those movies, it doesn't happen. And even a lot of the sequels.
There's one, and I'm not going to say it yet, but there's one I'm really excited about doing because it completely breaks stride.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say what it is, but it's this season, so stay tuned,
So
folks.
It's a Marvel movie. So we're doing these all in order. So up next we've got The Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, which I talked about the casting being great, and I think Ed Norton cast as the Hulk was really good.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
I think Mark Ruffalo definitely kills it. But
He's good.
I like Edward Norton in this role.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll get. I don't think we're gonna get a solo Ruffalo Hulk movie.
No one wants to see Smart Hulk.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't like how it doesn't say Professor Hulk. It says Smart Hulk on the subtitles.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah, because it's like, it's not though. It's Bruce Banner.
Yeah,
that's who it is. Like, come on.
With kind of more strength.
Yeah, and I think we'll touch on some of the sequel stuff a little more as we go through, just because some of those are more fun than the originals, and when I have reason to talk about them.
Yeah, if you need anything at all,
any services,
you call someone and they'll take care of it.
Yeah, so I think this is gonna be a fun season.
I know it's gonna be a fun season, so it trumps you.
I'm gonna do my best to make sure it isn't. How about that?
You get my skateboard,
Mr. Hawk. I didn't know you were here. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Go.
You got anything else before we?
The only thing I'm promoting is this show. So.
Well, I just meant like if you had any more thoughts that you wanted to say before we stop talking about Iron Man.
Let me look in here.
I watched this with my wife, and the whole section after he like escapes the cave and is back at home, like building the new like Iron Man suit. She was like, "This part's really boring. Like it didn't need to go on this long." I was like, "Huh."
Why?
I guess kinda. Like it drags a little compared to newer stuff. Like it is a lot bigger of a chunk of the movie than I remembered.
It's a big development.
Yeah.
It's showing how it works.
Yep.
Because with the nanotech, it comes out and we're so like confident in his character. We're like, okay, cool. We don't need it because
he's not there yet.
Because this is the base of it. Like, no, it would be perplexing if he just showed up. You're like, that's dumb. That couldn't really happen. So yes, it shows.
Yeah, this is putting in the work that pays off over a decade.
What I'm saying is, tell your wife she's wrong. Tell her.
I probably won't.
Just call her down here.
Wife. Yeah.
I went through my notes. I don't have anything.
You got nothing? Cool.
I went through all the pages I had.
All right. Well, I got one thing to say to you, buddy boy. Thanks for listening this week. And tell all your friends about us. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you like what we do, you can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us online at KeystoneCopycats.com. We're at Keystone Copycats on Instagram and Facebook, and at Keystone Copycat on Twitter. If you got something to say, you can email us at KeystoneCopycats@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 513-239-7682. Don't forget to check out Singularity, A Dinosaur's Tale every Friday. And until next time, I'll be Zach, and he'll be
Tony.
Oh, you've made some upgrades to your name.
Bye.